your team, no Brooks and no Coruscant. Boy, it makes them vulnerable, Block. I fear there's a number of floggings still left this season.
Mate, I was wrong. I was at the start of the year, I said round 15, when fatigue starts to set in and injuries start to set in, we're going to see some big score lines. It's taken to round 18. You can't lose those two blokes, mate.
Yeah.
You can't possibly, we talk about the spines and all that sort of thing all the time, but Appy Coruscant is a competitor. Yep. Super competitor. Now, when you go out and play, you want to mainly do it for the bloke next to you, yep. and you got to want to scramble and do things that that save games, or at least look like you're trying to help your teammate and all that. Mate, I couldn't watch it. 74-0. I mean, I said it this morning. Like our defence was like Tallio paper. Yeah. It was terrible. But the will of wanting to do it with your mate, or do something for your mate, or at least, look like you're scrambling. Albeit, you can have all excuses in the world. Like North Queensland, we beat them down at Leichhardt by 50 points. We hadn't scored 50 points in 2 seasons. But going back there was always going to be a square up. You got to get yourself mentally ready to play in those games.
Yeah.
They're going to come out after what happened in the game at Leichhardt.
That's right. Yeah.
But, mate, hardly a whimper from us.
Tell you what, the loss of Brooks going into 2024, and I know they've come out and said, it's not the fact, but like last night, the reports that they were going to sort of push Benji into the head coaching job next year, mate. It's not a job for a rookie coach.
Does he want to do it? That's the other thing about the Tigers. When I look at them now, Matty, all the trick plays and all the second man plays and all the stuff that happens, with coaching and the way that you want a team to play. I think they've gone the other way around. I would much prefer to see them with a bit of grit. Yep. It's a bit like New South Wales too at the moment. It's all out the back. They're just covering us off in their defence. If you have that mentality and go out and say, well, we haven't got a half now. It takes you 60 games, 80 games to become a half. Where are you going to get them from? They're like hen's teeth. There's none around. Yep. You can't pluck one out of the air and say, mate, here, you're our halfback for the next 5 years. It doesn't happen like that.
Well, let's.
So do they have to change the way that they buy now? Do they have to change the way they play?
I think first and foremost, I think they've got to change the way they play. Next year, there's no doubt, even if they bring another half in, if it's a young half, they're going to have to build the whole attack around Appy Coruscant. Yeah. But like you said before, mate, halves so thin on the ground. Can I ask you something, right, about Brooksy?
Yeah.
Right. Trying to find the right word. Do you feel a bit let down
by him?
Yeah.
Matty, I do think that he owes the Tigers something, but I can understand why he went now, because when he was there and his contract was up, right? This is just coming from how I think about it.
Yep.
Mate, there was every halfback or 5'8" that was available on the market. They tried to sign under him. So that poor bugger's sitting there going, you know what, I've been here for nearly a decade and they're not showing me the respect to try and re-sign me again.
Yep.
And on top of that, he would have, and he has to shoulder all the blame for the last, that comes with being a half.
Yeah,
for the last 5-6 years or whatever the Tigers have been battling, he's been their number 7. So he's shouldered everything. But then to top it all off, when they couldn't sign any of these players that they were going for in the halves, they offer him half the contract that he was on now. So in one way, I would have loved to see him repay the loyalty that they've given him.
Yep.
But in another way, I can understand why he's gone.
Geez, he's going to leave a gap, Block. I mean, like we said, like halves, how thin on the ground they are. Right at the Dogs, here's an example, Matty Burton in the 7. Yeah. And you're seeing the responsibility that the 7 is, and him trying to steer the side around the park, which is just not his go. How it's affecting his football, how it's affecting his confidence.